Barber Expo. Come spend some time with us at 1045.
Dennis Joseph with Babelist Pro. Make sure you guys get to the Tennessee Barber Expo. Barbers! The Tennessee Barber Expo is going to be crazy. Tennessee Barber Expo, Knoxville, Tennessee. Great event.
Tennessee Barber Expo.
Tennessee Barber Expo.
What are you going to do besides the Tennessee Barber Expo?
Tennessee Barber Expo. We'll see you soon.
Tennessee Barber Expo 2021. I'm going to be there. Make sure you're there too.
Why are you not already there?
Okay, so we're going to jump right into it with the FX3. This is the new clipper from Babyless. It's definitely required me to learn how to use the lever up front. I'm going to explain it the best I can, and so I hope you enjoy the video with it. This is a number 4 guard. Right now I'm just clearing the space on the side of his head so that way I can start my fade. Then I'm going to go to my FX3 trimmer, and let me go ahead and tell you, this trimmer that I'm using is sharp. Right out of the box, this thing is sharp, so you literally have to learn how to use this. You have to lighten up your pressure in order to be able to use this thing the right way. And so I'm just going to clean him up right here with the trimmer, and then I'm going to grab my Uno shaver, and I'm going to clean out the bottom of that so that way his fade can be nice and clean. Now I'm going to pull this guard all the way back, which makes this like a no guard open or a half. And I'm going to create my first guideline with the FX3. I gotta be honest, when I first started using this clipper, I did not like it. It was uncomfortable, it was new, I took longer on my haircuts, and it wasn't something I planned on using. So this is the weird thing. I like to start all the way open and then go to closed to knock out the bottom line, and then I'll go to the middle. So I'm still working with an open, middle, closed system, and I use the clicks in between open, middle, and closed to detail. But that's been my mode, has been to go in open, and then I take out the bottom guideline, and then I'll take out the middle, and then detail with everything else. So that's what's going on here. It's open, create the guideline, close it up, take out the bottom, then go to the middle. Now you can see I've got my 1 guard here, and I open it up just a little bit because sometimes I'm not sure if the half open is bigger or smaller than the 1 closed, so I open the 1 up just a little bit for my next guideline. I'm careful when I'm doing this not to come around to the back of the hair. So now I go to my half guard to go ahead and start cleaning up this 1 guideline. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to go hard on that bottom guideline. I'm really going to put a lot of work into getting that bottom guideline out. Then I'm going to open it up all the way, and I'm going to clear out my panel with the flicking out motion, and then I'm going to go to the middle and try to clean it up. Again, I'll use the levers in between open, middle, and closed to clean everything up. This is definitely a new system. One of the things that I love about this clipper is you can see the work getting done. You can see the hair going away. You can hear the hair crunching. It's a very effective tool. So now I go to my 1.5. I'm going to create a guideline. It's definitely effective, and it's made cutting hair fun in a new way. Cutting hair never stopped being fun, but this gave a new challenge to it. And once you kind of get a system for this, it really makes it more enjoyable again, or it makes it enjoyable in a new way. You can see with that 1.5 guard that the blend is starting to come together. So I go to my 1 guard. This time I'm going to open it up all the way and clear out the panel, and it's like I'm just trying to get that blend in, and I'm still learning my own system. So you can see I opened it, now I'm closing it. I'm fading down in this case because I'm coming up on his parietal ridge. I don't want to go too high. I want to continue to have that blend meet right where I want it to. So this is one of those cases where I went open, middle, closed, kind of backwards. So this is the 2 guard, coming up very lightly. I'm trying not to even take that much out because I'm coming upon the place where I like where his hair is at, I like where it sits. He wants messy in the front. His front hairline is awful. I can't even tell you what all the things that his front hairline does, so I just don't even go around that. This is the 1.5. You can see I came in open, and then I went middle, and now I'm closing it all the way. It just happened. There's not a whole lot of work to be done with that. Now I'm taking my K Mullet. You haven't heard of K Mullet yet, but you're going to. This is a fantastic shear out of Knoxville, Tennessee. It's better than most of the shears that I've had in a really long time. Definitely better than Fresh shears, definitely better than most of the brands that I've ever tried. And it's affordable, it's high quality, and I know the process that he's going through to bring these shears to us. He's not cutting corners for money. Now this is my technique for how to get that behind the ear. I will use clipper over regular comb, and I'm just removing the hairs that create the bulk because I want that to be a smooth flowing lock down the back of his head. And so I'll use my small comb, and it's something you got to play around with, you got to practice with, and it's not the most conventional thing, but it definitely works to smooth that out. So what I'm doing with the top of his hair is I just want to shatter and add texture. I'm not trying to really remove a lot of length because he likes the length, so I'm going to take off about 3/4 of an inch, but I'm only going to do it while I'm texturing. So that means there's going to be some hairs that are still exactly the same length that were when we started, and that's okay. The top of his hair is supposed to be a messy mullet. It's supposed to be a textured look, and I like for him to be able to wake up, jiggle his hair around, and hit the road. And that's what he prefers too. So with a hairstyle like this, when you make it messy on top, it's supposed to look messy all the time. You see that hairline? Look at the cowlick. Look at that. This is my son Brylon. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be cutting hair. He was the one that asked me for a faux hawk, and I went on YouTube about 6 years ago to learn how to do a faux hawk. And I became obsessed with cutting hair in that moment. And so that's how God kind of used my son to put the passion for cutting hair into my heart. This was always about being a good daddy. It was always about being a father to my son. It was about making up for missed time. It was about giving my kids the things that they want. And so it's really cool how, you know, I came into this industry, in this profession, because it's definitely not about money. So you can see back in the back, I'm basically going to texture on an angle right here. You can see that short and you see the long. I'm just trying to graduate that just a little bit. It doesn't have to be precise because, again, everything is really choppy, it's really messy. And so I'm just going to texture it and remove a little bit of the length and just chop it up as much as I can. So that way he has a graduation from the short hair on the top of his head to the long hair on the back of his head. There's not a whole lot of form to this. It's just really just kind of filling it out. And you can see every time I get done, I kind of mess his hair up. That's because when you're putting this texture in, you can run your fingers through the hair and you can kind of mess it up with no product in it, and you can see how it's going to lay. You can see if you like what it's doing, and so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'll cut the hair, texturize it, throw the little shatters in it, and mess it up so I can get an idea of what it's going to lay like when I'm done. So I'll just go all around the parottle on the back of his head so I can see. Now I messed up my video and didn't get the other side of the taper. So basically for the other side of the taper, I did the exact same thing that I did on this side. Sorry about that, guys, work with me. You know, we just started this haircut video thing again recently. Now for my son, I don't want the harsh, crazy lines, and that's with, you know, several of my cuts. You know, you can see some cuts on my channel where we do the hard lines, but I don't want him to have those hard lines. I like a lived-in look. I like it to look pretty natural, and so I definitely clean everything up very well, but I don't want him to look like, you know, he's got a pencil on his head, or I don't want the razor line to be just standing out like that. So when it comes to the back of his ear, I just clean up about 3/4 just so I can hit that arch so that it looks clean. But I don't mess with any of that hair on the back because I don't want to mess with any of that flow. Again, for this taper, I did the exact same thing on this side that I did on the other side. Pretty sure he's telling me the trimmers are sharp, but But dude, he always complains about something every cut. So I just told him, you gotta get over it. Sometimes clippers bite. I actually know that the clippers aren't that sharp. He's just tired and ready to get up. So now I'm using Victory spray, and I'm getting it kind of in the roots. I'm opening his hair up, standing it up, trying to get some of this stuff in the roots. Probably overusing it, but dude, I love this stuff. It smells great. It's like a spray texturizing powder, and it's awesome. So I pick up the diffuser. One of my most helpful tools with doing texture is to use the texturizing spray followed by the diffuser. When I use texturizing spray and the diffuser, and I run the diffuser in these little itty bitty circles, those claws or those probes, the things sticking out of the diffuser, they reach in, get the hair, and they're just basically circling it up and adding the texture to it, and the heat asks the hair to stay there. So when you hit the cool shot on the diffuser, it'll actually hold the hair in that place where you just texturized it. So I think the video makes more sense than I can explain it, but the diffuser is a great tool. Don't hesitate to use that if you're doing any kind of texture, if you're working on hair like this and you're wanting to give it that messy look and trying to do something nice with it or something a little bit different. You see the texture just kind of coming in there. You can see the hairs separating. You can see the shatter where how it's laying everywhere. I'm just going to pat that down to kind of keep that in there. Now I'm just kind of going to hit some of the details. Not a huge deal, just kind of for my own little satisfaction, putting some of the hairs that don't have anywhere to go, giving them a place to live. Yeah, and that's it. That's the mullet. That's Brylon's mullet. And so I think this came out really well. He's wearing it very well, and I think it's in season right now. Don't smile. Don't smile. He was trying so hard. Love that kid. So proud of him. It's awesome. Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you would, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me if you enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, go in the comments and tell me why not. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, if you don't have your tickets, Tennessee Barber Expo at www.tennesseebarberexpo.com. It's going to be a crazy show and we're really excited for it. Again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell, join the channel. Till next time, peace.